What is up, guys? It's Miggy, Miggy, and welcome back to another episode of Random Rambling. I know we've been straying towards the content creation, but we're back at it because there is a new patch that just dropped on Mobile Legends Bang Bang. So, of course, we're gonna do things a little bit differently. We're gonna be still doing the unscripted, unfiltered content, but the difference being it took me a while to actually get a hold of this patch or try it out for myself. So I will be giving you guys my thoughts on the new patch, the new hero, with a few games played. Of course, I'm gonna be reading this patch as same as you guys are. It's gonna be my first time seeing this patch. I just decided to play the game without reading the patch because I didn't want to spoil myself. So with that being said, let's get into it. Of course, the usual, we're going to be looking at where to find the patch. You get to see the patch notes by pressing events, going down to the very bottom, and there you go. There are the patch notes. So we are in the Sora patch, wherein we are introduced to a new hero. We're introduced to Sora, who is, in my opinion, an XP laner and could possibly be played in the jungle. So, without further ado, let's go through the hero adjustments. So, for right off the bat, new hero, Shifting Cloud Sora. An adaptable cloud warrior with multiple combat styles. So, passive is he could switch between tank and assassin styles, with the tank style or the torrent will allow you to be more survivable. It provides a lot of crowd control, while Assassin or I believe it's called the Storm or Thunder style, allows you to become very agile, and you have a lot of burst damage, and you have an untarget. Your ulti can be cast again to be untargetable. So number one is your primary damage skill. It provides you HP regen, or it provides you life spell vamp. It's what keeps you survivable in lane. Skill 2 is it's a dash. So every hero now has a dash. So skill 2 is your dash, or Skyfall is your dash. And if you do hit a hero with max range, I do believe it actually decreases the cooldown, so you could cast it again, making you a very sticky hero to deal with. And of course, the ulti is being able to transition to either assassin or tank, wherein you're either providing extra crowd control or providing extra damage in team fights. And I played him in mostly jungle because I really wanted to try him out. And he plays very much like Lucas or Suyu. So if you're very much into that, he leans towards the assassin gameplay early on. But because of that ability to be able to tank hits, tank damage, he also provides a lot of team fight presence by providing crowd control when needed. But I feel like he's going to be leaning towards being played in the XP lane because Flicker is a must to be able to land that tank transition ulti wherein you're able to knock people up and crowd control. So that's my opinion. And the builds, a lot of the tanky build is very different from the assassin build. But overall, you still want to be survivable. You want to have that lifesteal. You want to have that spell vamp, and you want to have that early game damage. So that's your Hunter Strike, your War Axis, and your Queen's Wings, I believe. Moving on to our patches, our actual hero adjustments. So Freya recently got a revamp, and with that, a lot of changes too. They're still trying to balance her out. And Freya, her ulti got decreased. Her ulti cooldowns got decreased, and it's a big decrease. They already made sure that she's able to be stable. She's able to have that early game presence and consistency. Now that they decreased her cooldown, her ultimate's cooldown, it means that she's gonna get a lot more stickier. She's gonna get a lot more, a lot. She's gonna be harder to deal with in the early game. So, I think this is a win. We're not sure if it's gonna still be viable. Possibly, we could see if we're still gonna be seeing fighter gold lanes. Freya might be a decent pick now, but we don't know that for sure. So just be wary in your ranked games. While Zushin is a balance, they say, but from what I heard, it's a pretty big nerf, or it hurt her real bad. So Zushin reduces Zushin's excessive sustained control capabilities, but increased her damage. So her passive, her mana regen is increased by Crimson Butterfly. Regen got decreased from 5% to 3%, and intervals got slower. So it just means that her mana regen's not gonna be as effective or as quick as it used to be. With skill 2, this is her lamp. Her base damage got increased. That is a big increase actually. 3388 to 4595 with better scaling, and magic power bonus is increased to 60% against minions. So that's good. The smash damage, on the other hand, got reworked in such a sense that it's no longer a flat 300 to 800, but it now scales based on max HP of the target that gets captured. So can now capture Tigreal and throw him onto Layla, dealing damage to Layla based on Tigreal's max HP. Ouch. That's gonna hurt. So that's a pretty strong rework on the smash, because now it's scary for gold laners or marksmen to off position against against a Zushin. And new effect, after successfully knocking enemies airborne, the target cannot be marked with Soul Snare again for 4 seconds. So during this time, this skill deals 15 to 25% increased damage to the target. And mana cost adjustment, apply Soul Snare to enemy heroes, costs 120 to activating skill 2, costs 90 mana every 30 seconds. Oh, okay. So now you can't just blindly press and hold your second skill or your lantern, because every time you proc it, every time you use it, it's gonna eat through your mana. So there you have it. And her ultimate Soul Snare stacking interval got increased by half a second, which is pretty huge. But again, I'd say this is still a big nerf. You're not gonna be seeing Lantern on all the time for Zushin, but the changes for it, the trade-offs, they're pretty good. So utility-wise, she's not gonna be as good, but as a damage dealer, you could really feel her presence. You're gonna feel her impact with how much, especially if it's a good Zushin who always snares the tank and throws it into the backline. It's gonna hurt like hell. That's all I'm saying. So I think that's why people are still playing Zushin, or maybe it's still a comfort pick, but we have yet to see. Let's wait for the next few tournaments before we can decide. But in the ranked games, chances are we're gonna be able to see this being viably played. Next up, Leomord. Leomord's passive relied on enemies for being at low health to be effective, which didn't align with our design expectations. We wanted Leomord to take the initiative by gaining Oathkeeper energy through combat to deal crit damage while recovering HP for sustainability. So there's a slight rework. We've also increased skill 1. Okay. So Leomord's basic attack and skills gain 25 Oathkeeper energy for each target damaged. Oh, okay. Leomord's basic attack cannot normally crit, but every 1% crit chance is now crit damage. So they reworked him. Essentially, it's no longer going to be based on HP or opponent's HP, but rather how much presence or how much poke Leomord can deliver during team fights or clashes. They removed the effect of gaining a shield on his skill 1, and new effect is now damage against creeps increased to 200%. So no longer is he going to be sustainable, but at least his clear times are going to be better. especially since Leomord is usually played in the jungle role anyway. Jella got a balance. Increase the duration of ultimate when attached to allies and cast frequency of skill 1. Additionally, the cooldown runs while attached. Oh. To balance, we've reduced the movement speed boost of the passive and increased the cooldown of the passive. Okay, so passive movement speed boost per stack is down to 5, so she's a bit slower. It's easier to catch her now. Cooldowns got increased of her skill 1, that's her heal. New effect is when attached skills cooldowns reduced by 50%. So it becomes 4 seconds when you're actually attached, which just means that she's gonna be more. You're gonna feel her heal a lot more now when she is on her ulti, and with her ultimate cooldown being at 60 seconds, and the cooldown starts immediately after casting the ultimate. So by the time you get out the full duration of your ulti, you'd have 40 seconds of rundown. But in your 20 seconds of attached, you can heal if you have the stacks of your wave or your heals. You could heal your teammates 5 times while you're attached to your teammate, while you're on hard guard. So what do I think about this? I think this is gonna be enough to bring her back into meta. She was already meta before, but in the mid lane. But now I think she's gonna have more of a presence even in the roam. While it seems like a lot of our healers got buffs, so let's go through the next one. Rafaela increased healing and speed up effects as a support. Okay. She was already a problem to deal with in the ranked games with her revive. And then now that her second skill, magic bonus on additional self-heal and injured allies, she's gonna be very good now with tempo heroes or tempo lineups. What do I mean by tempo lineups? These are basically lineups that want to snowball early. They want to play aggressive. So with the buffs to her for second skill, she can heal a lot more, and the movement speed she provides her team is a lot. So you already had a problem running away from a Rafaela buff team. It's gonna be a lot harder to deal with now, especially with those changes wherein the movement speed bonus is increased 1% for every magic power. So yeah, you're gonna see a Rafaela roided team running to your face and hitting you. And to add to that, they would decrease the ulti cooldown, which means when they catch you, you're gonna get stunned. Or chances are each objective fight, Rafaela will have her stun ready, her ultimate ready to counter engage. Chances are this is gonna be for counter engagement, but you can use it now as an engagement tool. You don't have to worry about no, I have to save this for a counter engage. You now have the access to her ulti a lot more. Next up, Estes. Estes enhanced sustained ability and ability to protect fragile heroes. Skill 1, sustained healing, got increased by a lot. Okay, this is a lot. So from 250 to 400 to 360, and then it's plus 90% total magic power, and the defense it provides is this is too good. With the mana cost being decreased as well, so you're not gonna have issues with Estes now. What's gonna happen is when you have an Estes, it's gonna be a skill issue if you cannot provide the heal or utility your teammates are looking for. That's all I'm saying. So Estes, chances are you're gonna be respect banning the healers in your ranked games, and the ultimate enhanced moonlight immersion, doubling the hybrid defense. So basically, you don't want to deal with an Estes, especially when he's healing his teammates. It's gonna be a lot harder to deal with. And I think out of the 3 healers, Jella, Rafaela, and Estes got the best buff. Following him is Angela, and probably last would be Rafaela. I'm not saying they're bad, but these are really good changes. Especially if they want utility or enchanter roams to come back. And moving on to a tank, somewhat healer, but still a majority tanky setter, Lolita. Increase the frequency of Lolita's shield in the middle and late game. Increase the damage and slow effect of her ultimate. Okay, so passive. Remove the effect where the shield is periodically granted. So no more Hanabi Lolita spam. Shield frequency is from every 6 seconds to every 6 to 3. That scales with Numenon Blast. So shield can still be granted to nearby allies when using skills. Okay, so there's no more trickle shield effects, but you still have the shield. First skill is they change the skill cooldown, but increase the base damage of it. So this is when she bonks, she jumps on you and stuns. It's gonna hurt a lot more now. You can't just let it fly. And then her ulti got buffed as well to a slow damage increase, base damage increase with a new passive. Each level up reduces the interval of shield granted by the Numenon energy cord. I guess these are good changes, but it's still not gonna. It feels like she's still not gonna be meta relevant yet. So, sorry, Lolita. Tigreal, slight increase the hero ability to secure kills. The charge speed or second skill, the dash or the knockback or ram. I guess you can't consider it a knockback because you're coming with them. You're joining them in the ram in the knocking. So it got faster. And base damage, okay, this is just a minor buff. Johnson adjusted, okay, ultimate to physical defense. Okay. So they're trying to take away Magic Johnson from the people. It's just not fun. Especially when you see you wanna push them to building defense, because a lot of people see that he has good magic scaling. They just to play. They just abuse it. They just abuse Magic Johnson. Kufra got a minor change earlier poke, so he has more lane presence now. Atlas, same thing. Not same thing, sorry. Has a bit more damage early on, but they can only be damaged once. Okay. It's I guess you could consider it a buff because it does increase the damage. It 2x'd the output. Hayabusa got nerfed. Hayabusa's skill 2 allowed him to reach backline too easily again. So they already made it harder for him to burst down an opponent. They also made it a lot harder to reach your opponents now. So it really becomes now a very skill intensive hero. Moving on, Lilia. Skill 2 short range casting got a buff. So the cast ranges of her skills got increased. So I guess this is a way to combat the buffs they gave to the healers. So now that she could provide more damage at longer distances. So we might be seeing the return of Lilia. Nana, balance. Zetian got buffed. Damage curve and they only changed her first skill, but I guess it's much needed because Zetian really falls off. She has really good utility. She has really good survivability, but her as a mid-range artillery hero or a poke hero, her early game presence is that's the only time you actually feel her damage mostly. So adding this buff will actually help her scale into mid game, but still, it's not gonna be enough to like overthrow the games. Aurora is that's a bit. It's just one change, but that's being able to increase your crowd control time every magic power, especially if every 100 magic power, especially when you're always building magic power. That's just really good. So with a holy crystal, I assume you can add at least 0.18 seconds or 0.12 seconds to your crowd control. What more if you're fully kitted out? So I think you could reach around 2 seconds if ever. Barrett's buff is on his ulti. So if ultimate misses, the cooldown is reduced to 50. If the ultimate hits, Detona immediately gains max taps. Effect change, 60 cooldown to 50 refund when the cast is cancelled. Removed effect, the tone against. Okay. So a lot of it is, we know that Barats is very dependent on his ulti, especially in the late game. The being able to have it on when you miss, it's not gonna being you not being punished is a big thing. And the changes they did on the ultimate is represents that the cooldowns are reduced, so you could basically, if you're used playing Barats and you're in a turtle fight or a Lord objective, if you end up taking it, if you end up missing your ulti, it's not a reset. You could still fight it out, you could prolong it, and you could proceed to go at it again. And the HP bonus is a plus because especially when you miss it, people are gonna punish you, they're gonna dive you, they're gonna burst you. But having that total HP increase from 1.8 to 5, which is a big jump, allows you to survive those hits and reset, you know? So Barats, I could see Barats happening in ranked games. In competitive, I don't think so. Zilong, no one wants to talk about Zilong, but we're still gonna, because this is who you think about when you're thinking Dark System in the ranked games here in MLBB. The basic attack speed went down, but his attack scaling went up. Second passive can now scale. It's actually scaling now. And Dragon Flurry trigger condition deals 3 damage 3 times with basic attacks to deal damage 3 times with a basic attack or skills. So his sustained damage, it took a hit, but his burst damage is really good. His burst damage now, that's as an example of this, is they had to nerf his second skill, wherein that's the slingshot or the lift up, because being able to launch that basic attack after casting that skill just allows him to trigger Dragon Flurry immediately. So that's a knockback, that's one. Basic attack, that's two. So one more, you're gonna trigger Dragon Flurry. So they had to remove that just to balance him out. So he is now gonna be played more in the assassin position now. You're looking at building him more on the penetration, the burst damage, and stuff. Lucas, to improve Sacred builds by ability, they buffed him. So second skill, Lightning Storm's damage is scaling. Okay, not much change. Paquito, not much change as well. Just being able to do your combos more consistently because of the cooldown reductions. Grok, who else are we missing? Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done with the patch. Hero adjustments at least. So Grok boasted incredible durability and could gain crowd control immunity. Therefore, they changed it. So passive, they removed the effect that they can gain crowd control immunity while casting skills. The new effect is the skills cannot be interrupted. So whether they're stunned or not, if they're casting the skills can still be cast, I believe, if that's how I'm understanding it. And ultimate is gains control immunity while charging. Okay. So basically, they just found ways to make him easier to kill. Because the crowd control was really a big thing, especially against like Selena. Just getting a Grok, catching those arrows will make sure that your teams will survive, or your opponents will fail their ganks. And having the access to just not have your skills interrupted is a good workaround. Gatot Kacha, compared to other tank heroes, the control duration of Gatot Kacha's skill 2 was too long. So they nerfed him. Because honestly, in the competitive scene, Gatot Kacha is just really good. Has been played a lot because of how long his taunts are, especially if your team can capitalize on that, if they have that much chemistry. So that's a much needed nerf. But the question is it enough to prevent him from being picked or abused during ranked games? Mia, buffed, increased her early game mobility and mid to late game damage. Okay, so this is maybe I am not for this because if a player knows how to play Mia, they know how to capitalize on her positioning, her damage output, and everything. She has really crazy late game, mid game damage. But more so now with the whole increased increased attack speed and then attack effects, inherited portions of attack effects, meaning she just has a lot more impact now. Her early game damage is gonna be too good, and her mobility, it's already a problem to catch her when she's in her ulti. More so now with the 65% on all levels. So I think this is a really strong buff. I'm not. We're gonna see Mia be played a lot more in RG, but I don't think she's gonna make it to the competitive scene just yet. But we might see her. And last but not the least, Granger and Harith. Granger, they decided that his damage was too much, so they decreased it even more. So his bullets don't deal as much damage, and now his flash farming is also affected because it no longer deals additional damage to minions and creeps. And Harith has been crowding the other marksmen in the gold lane, okay, because he is a mage, a burst mage in fact, who scales to the late game. Skill 2, enhanced basic attack, the scaling has been decreased, while the shield also, is it decreased? Wait. It caps now at 3 stacks, unlike before. So his survivability is also affected. Enhanced basic attacks only deal 50 to 100 and normal basic attacks to turrets. So they also nerfed his tower breaking. And that's it for the hero adjustments. Let's talk main points, speaking points here. I feel that Sora's gonna be meta viable. We're gonna see him be played in rank games and as well as the competitive scene, possibly as a jungle flex or in the XP lane. But I believe Sora is gonna find his way into the competitive scene. Next up is Zushin. It's gonna take a bit of adjustment, but I still feel like she's gonna be viable. Zushin is gonna be affected by the changes. People who play Zushin are gonna have to relearn how to play her, but she's gonna be viable still. Will she be meta? Who knows? But I still feel like she's a good comfort pick, and it's still viable. Her ability to just manipulate the opponent's positions is very, very much a good thing. Next up, the healers. Estes, out of the 3, Estes took the biggest buffs. So Estes, we're gonna be seeing a lot more Estes being played, possibly in competitive, but more so in the ranks. So if chances are you're gonna priority ban Estes to not deal with how much sustain he delivers. Next up is Hayabusa. I feel very much, he's not gonna be playable anymore. I'm sorry. Lilia might come back to the map, the mid meta, especially with the changes with increased cast range. Zetian is okay. Aurora's okay. Barats is okay because fighter junglers are still not that rampant now. Grok and Gatot Kacha, we might be seeing a bit more variety now in the roam position, especially if Grok and Gatot no longer have weakened versions of what made them strong. So that's gonna be a good mix-up. And Mia, among the marksmen, Mia got a very big buff, but I feel like she's still not gonna be seen in the competitive scene. But chances are, in the early ranks, we're gonna be seeing Mia played in the early ranks, or the lower ranks of ranked games here in MLBB. So those are my takeaways for hero adjustments. With that being said, let's go check Battlefield notes. Okay. Change to Mythical Honor Battlefield. Mythic Battlefield's exclusive stat adjustments now only take effect after reaching Mythical Honor. Oh, okay. This is okay. So what happens here is there are adjustments that you get to experience when you get to a certain rank. So here it's gonna be there are gonna be stat adjustments when you reach mythical honor. So you're not really playing the full game until you get into mythical honor. That's what they're basically saying. So stat adjustments, we've noticed that in high rank matches, more fighters are taking the gold age, severely limiting the viability of marksmen. Therefore, we made Mythic Honor battlefield adjustments to address this. So they made the base and the buildings tankier. So what does that mean? It's gonna be harder to break them if you have multiple fighters who build utility or half damage, half tank to break the tower. So they will be punishing you for not having a viable damage dealer or a late game damage dealer. Whilst on the other hand, they know that fighters bully marksmen out of the lane. Being able to provide that extra gold with the gold lane siege minion means that their scaling will not be as big, or the item difference or gold difference will not be that big. So yeah. So right now with the changes, you're gonna be experiencing the true MLBB. The MLBB people play in the pro scenes only when you reach mythical honor. And my thoughts on this is I think the ceiling is too much. Because it might not be too much because a lot of the players actually reach Mythic so easily. But it's gonna affect the player base because suddenly you're playing all these cheese strats, and when you get to Mythic Honor, it's a culture shock because of all the changes. But it has to be reminded, or they have to be reminded that okay, when you reach Mythic Honor, this is how the game's gonna play. This is how much tankier the bases are. So you have to be sure about your choices. Next up, equipment adjustments. So I do think that people are going to be changing this because a lot of people have been capitalizing, abusing it, call it what you want. The different types of roaming heroes have different playstyles, so we rework some of the blessings to gain extra gold and EXP. So as match time increases, gold from minions and creeps rise, while vision reveals and damage opportunities for roamers decrease because a lot of people are positioning themselves better. So all blessings, they got a buff. The gold they gain is 30 plus hero level. XP is increased as well when you get to later games. And gold gain after 5 seconds after 8 minutes. They also, so scaling wise with the roam items is a lot better. Conceal and Dire Hit no longer gain income from minions and creeps killed by nearby allies. New effect is they gain gold and EXP after dealing damage to enemy heroes. Okay. While Encourage and Favor income from minions and creeps killed got decreased. Encourage grants nearby allies 20 hybrid defense. Okay. So this makes Conceal and Dire Hit viable again. Honestly, people have stopped picking Conceal in ranked games because of they lose out on the ability to use the Winter Crown. But with these changes, it just goes to show that they're gonna be able to capitalize on the conceal they give, the dire hit effects they give, because they gain a lot more when they secure kills, when they're actually roaming, right? So that's a buff. So I feel like they're gonna be playing those a lot more. And Encourage is still gonna be a go-to for like Hylos, Gatot, and possibly Lolita and Grok. But Grok is still more of a conceal play because he needs the positioning to set up. But Hylos and Gatot, chances are they could be playing Encourage a lot more, especially with the provided 20 hybrid defense to all allies around them. That's pretty good. Demon Hunter Sword. Sustainability is enhanced hero sustainability provided by the 3-piece attack speed equipment set. So they took out the lifesteal. But they put in basic attacks grant 2% lifesteal. Each basic attack recovers formula HP and counts as an attack effect. Okay, so now basically to get the lifesteal, you want to have you want to hit every hit is 2% lifesteal, and you have a formula that recovers it, and it's an attack effect now. So those things that hit on hit that proc on hit effects will proc Demon Hunter Sword. So I think that would be Obsidia. Obsidia would probably be able to capitalize on that a lot more. Rose Gold Meteor got an adjustment to every 1% lifesteal increases hybrid defense, to every 4 extra physical attack increases hybrid defense. I'd say that is a better change, especially with heroes taking it with a lot of lifesteal. It's usually Rose Gold Meteor with Has Claws, but now you can play it and you will be fine when you use it with Demon Hunter Sword. So, what else? This effect now requires taking damage from enemy heroes who trigger. Okay, that's normal. Still the same. And Queen's Wings. So it's enemy hero. So even when a creep hits you, it won't proc. Okay, so that is a buff. Because at least you can time or make sure that you have wanted. You know when you wanna have your Rose Gold Meteor popped. Queen's Wings. Optimize Queen's Wings passive. Demonize. This effect now requires taking damage from enemies to trigger. Okay, same thing. They did it the same thing with Rose Gold Meteor. Battle spells. Ice Retribution. Slightly reduce the crowd control and kiting potentials. Okay, so it's a nerf. It's a lot easier. You can still be caught now with the stolen movement speed. And Vengeance. Vengeance is... Actually, it's a very situational thing. People still prefer Revitalize, but more so now with the 35% damage taken to 25%. It's still gonna be played, but at least it's gonna prevent the CC gold lane going out of control because of the early game Vengeance they're able to use against the marksmen they are laning against. Battlefield adjustments in quick match communications. Okay, that's basic. So system adjustments, not much. Oh, a new free recording. You can enable this feature in setting. Free recording to view and share your recorded videos. Once enabled, a draggable floating record button will appear in matches, allowing you to quickly record gameplay. Due to performance consideration, this feature is disabled on some. Okay, so now we have a lot more TikTok moments. We can now TikTok moment stuff. You can tap record the full animation of the battle achievements. So okay, so we now have access to saving and recording videos and sharing them with our friends. That's nice. That's cool. Brawl. Okay, this is different. We don't need to deal with that. What else? Okay, so we have, that's pretty cool. It's gonna be a lot easier also to understand. Free recording to view and share your recorded videos. Once enabled. Okay. Okay, nice. So that's it for the patch, the Sora Shifting Clouds patch. And what are my thoughts on it? Let's see. It's a big patch. We're gonna see a lot of changes. This is a very much needed patch before M7. We're gonna see a lot more utility. At least my predictions are we're gonna still see Zushin. Healers are gonna come back. And there's gonna be a change again in the gold lane. So they're trying to curb the fighter gold lanes, but they are trying to do it in such a way that it's still viable, but it's better to have a traditional gold laner there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this patch breakdown. You guys listened while I broke it down for you guys, and you have your thoughts as well. If you guys have your thoughts and opinions, your comments about this patch as well, your predictions, your meta predictions, feel free to comment down below on this video. Again, this is Miggy, Miggy, and that was an episode of Random Rambling. And I'll catch you guys next time.